What is up, everybody? Kickazir6 back with another test video with a Ryzen 7 8700G, and now we have Fortnite again. This is probably one of the most requested ones. As always, my links are going to be down below. I've got my Discord link, Twitch, but more importantly, I have every single part that's in this test rig, so you can see exactly what I'm working with. All of those links are down below, so feel free to take a look if you want. Excuse me. Towards the end, I believe it's about the 19-minute mark of this video, is kind of the end of the Fortnite gameplay, and then it's going to go into an informational video. And in that information video is pretty much all the settings that I changed, all the defaults that I reconfigured, the things in the BIOS that I changed, just to get the results that I have right now. Because out of the box, it's not as good as it is right now. One thing I will say, from when I tested about a year ago, it is almost a night and day difference. You could somewhat play it a year ago, but with AMD, a year of their updates, it has turned into actually extremely playable. We're going to go through all the settings here in a little bit, but even when we were in a fight, the 1% lows didn't drop like crazy, and there was no stutter, there was no lag. It actually felt very good. Today we did low, medium, high, and epic settings. I'm going to give you the cheat sheet here, just in case you don't want to sit through and watch or skip through. If you want to see a specific gameplay on a specific graphical setting, there will be chapters in here that'll separate low, medium, high, and epic. So if you wanted to jump to one and check it out, you can. But what I will tell you right off the bat, I believe medium is probably where it felt best. But on low settings, which is what we're on right now, it generally stayed between 70 and 80 FPS. The 1% lows stayed in about 25 range, give or take. You can see it's 20, I believe it's 23 right now. So it stayed in that 25-ish range. When we jumped to medium, the FPS, it went down to 60 or 70 FPS. It stayed kind of between 60 and 70, and it looked very good. And the 1%, it was kind of weird. The 1% lows got as high as about low 50s or mid 50s for 1% lows, which is kind of strange because it didn't do that for any other graphical setting, but it felt great. The normal 1% lows was about 30, 35 over there in the medium settings, and that's kind of why I say that's probably the best place to be here. But if you wanted to go to high settings, it averaged around 50 FPS, and the 1% lows were between 15 and 20 for the most part. And honestly, as long as they don't dip to single digits, most of the time you're all right. And you can see the gunfights in here. I didn't stutter. There was no lag. There was nothing that really held me back other than sucking and not being able to aim. Epic, I knew it was going to be pushing it, but I figured, heck, why not give it a try? Epic, we got about 35 to 40 FPS, but that 1% lows, it was in the single digits to begin with, but then it kind of settled down, and I know it's kind of a big range, but it was about 10 to 20 FPS was your 1% lows. It's still playable. All of them are very playable, and it felt amazing compared to how it did a year ago. But like I said, medium is probably your best bet, and it's still very playable. It's so playable that towards the end of the game, like Endgame of this one, we got third, by the way, I swapped back to medium settings just so it would be the best for Endgame. But that's pretty much it for this. Again, there will be chapters if you want to go check out what medium looks like or what high or epic looks like. There are chapters, so you can feel free to go look at that. But that is going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for hanging out. If there's any other game that you want to see, feel free to post it down in the chat or join the Discord and let me know there if you have any questions. If the game is free or cheap or I already have it, I will make a video for you and I'll upload it as soon as I can. But again, thank you so much for coming by. I hope you have a great day. I'll catch you in the next video. What is up, guys? If you made it this far, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the videos. I hope you found them helpful. Over the past couple days, I have tested about 20 different games, and this is kind of the part where I just want to go over with you guys my settings and maybe go over an issue or two that I had. First off, this right here is called FPS Monitor. I got it off of Steam. I believe it was a couple bucks, but this is where I got all the information that was in, I think, all but one of the videos. And I think CS Counter-Strike 2, I think, did not take this. I don't remember. One of them didn't like it and it wouldn't work. But FPS Monitor on Steam, I think it was a couple bucks, but that is exactly what I used. As for this is the Adrenaline. This is the AMD Adrenaline app that you will need if you are going to get the CPU or any of the G series from Ryzen. So HyperRX is well known for it being the best for FPS. It has the Super Res that was on, Fluid Motion Frames 2 that was on, Anti-Lag and Boost. All of these were on. You can go to quality, and I think it's pretty comparable, but based on my research, HyperRX is definitely the one that you want to go to for performance, and you can get all these. You can have your own overlay. You can set it up here. I just didn't do that because I like the way the other one was formatted a little bit better. Here's the system right now. I have 32 gig of RAM installed. There's the Ryzen 7 8700G as advertised. So right now it says there's only 24 gig of RAM, and I will tell you why right now. I went into the BIOS and changed the UMA frame buffer size to 8 gig, which means that I took 8 gig of the physical RAM and turned it into VRAM for the APU, so it would have more power. With 32 gig, that gave us plenty of room since most of the games today did not even get over 20 gig usage of RAM. So that gave us some extra FPS. So that's why I did it. I allocated 8 gig of RAM, and that's why right there. I had a question in my chat before that was asking me what version I was using of Windows. So there it is, Windows 11 Home. There's the version in the OS build. So the next thing that I wanted to show you was AMD Ryzen Master. This is where I go for basically the overclocking, really. So I set it on game mode, turned on Precision Boost Overdrive. On top of that, I came down to sock voltage. So the GPU sock voltage was, I set it to 1.275, and I will tell you exactly why. Once I got into the more demanding games like Halo and Warzone and Ark, the computer started just resetting on me, and it would just reset and go right back to the login screen. So I did a little bit of research on Reddit and YouTube, and I found one guy that said he had those same exact issues, and he said it was a voltage problem. So he raised it up to 1.275 volts, and it worked flawlessly, and it was stable, and he never had an issue again. I think, if I remember right, it was on like 1.15 or 1.175, something like that. So he didn't raise it a crazy amount, but over the past 7, I believe, the past 7 games that I tested, 0 issues and no issues, no criticals in the event viewer either. A couple other things in the BIOS, like I said, I allocated that VRAM. I made sure that the resize bar was enabled. I set the F clock to 2500 and the U clock was at 3000 because I used 6000 megahertz RAM. And XMP was on for this, by the way, in case you were curious. Let's see what else I have for you guys before we go out. So that FPS Monitor app that I use, it showed the 1% and 0.1% lows. And I just want you to know that the first 20 to 30 seconds after I changed to a different graphical setting, it kind of resets that. So the first 20 to 30 seconds are not trustworthy. So if I switch over and you see, oh, it's only 5... it's 5 FPS for a 1% low for 25 seconds. That's awful. It was not that bad, which is why it went from 5. In most cases, it went from that 5 FPS or 2 FPS all the way up to 30 or 40. It just had to reset, and it basically has to play catch up. One other thing I wanted you guys to understand, all of this testing was done on a 27-inch Asus TUF curved 1080p 165 hertz monitor. The frames were basically the frames were uncapped if it was possible, and if possible, every single one of these games was done in full screen exclusive. And the last thing I wanted you guys to know is that all of the recording and all of the FPS monitoring software was done on the computer while playing the game. So I did go back and I played 5 to 10 of the games over again just to see the difference in the FPS without having to run OBS and FPS monitor. And it came down to about a 5 to 13 FPS differential when the OBS and FPS monitor were turned off. When the game was the only thing running, there was an increase of about 5 to 13 FPS on average. And I know that's kind of a very precise number, and that's just exactly what it was. So that is going to be it for me. If you have any other questions or if you want to see any other games, please feel free. Put them in the comments below, and I will get to them. I plan on keeping this computer for a while. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Don't be safe. Don't do anything stupid, and I will catch you guys on the next video.